Hi, I'm Vishal Kishore, and I'm the Director of the Health Transformation Lab and Professor of Innovation and Public Policy at RMIT. Now, here at the lab, we aim to provocatively and rebelliously transform healthcare, playing with breakthrough technology, innovative and wacky ideas, and the most inspired and interesting people. My own interests lie in healthcare cybernetics, political economy, and the ethics and public policy of healthcare systems. But if you think that's interesting, just wait until you meet the rest of the team.
Lecturer in the School of Design and fellow in the Health Transformation Lab. I work creating living labs for social innovation in healthcare organizations.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Flegner and I'm an Innovation Fellow at the Health Transformation Lab. I bring my background as an architect and also in design anthropology to the lab's strategic design and innovation work.
Hi, my name's Jess Chatterton and I'm an Impact Fellow here at the lab. My background is in biomedical research as an immunologist at the Doherty Institute. My interests are sustainability, systems thinking, and science communication.
Hi, my name is Nicolas. I'm a development economist originally from Argentina. I work as an Impact Fellow researching issues in the intersection of economics, public policy, innovation, and political philosophy.
My name is Brad Crammond and I'm the new lead for Insight and Research at the Health Transformation Lab. I've got a background in law, public health, social theory and biostatistics, and I've done a little bit of infectious disease modelling on the side as well. I'm interested in mostly everything, but particularly how we can combine thinking from across disciplines to arrive at innovative solutions.
Some of our colleagues from across the university, we're so thrilled to welcome you to Open Labs Online. I think we're up to number 7, Venetia. Let me please start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are all variously meeting. For me, it's the people of the Woiwurrung and Boonwurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is one of my favorite kinds of open labs. So today we get to hear from some emerging voices in the design space. As you all know, design is a crucial element of how we think about health innovation here at RMIT, but also more broadly. And over the last year, RMIT Industrial Design students have been exploring a range of different problems with us. Some of them have been thinking about digital well-being and how can we create innovative products and services that tackle different elements of the well-being dilemma. And we've also had, particularly those well-being problems have been focused on how do we empower young people in the context of a world awash with digital technology that seems to often impede rather than enhance our overall well-being. We've also been thrilled to be able to host some other projects that have been going on, some honors projects in the context of health. And these have been also focused at various kinds of quality of life and well-being promotion for thorny challenges. So to tell us a little bit more about the projects and to introduce them to us, I'd like to welcome Juliet Anich to the. You're here. There you are, Juliet, hidden behind something on my screen. Juliet's been a collaborator of the Health Transformation Lab for quite a long time within the context of industrial design. So Juliet's a program manager in industrial design and a lecturer in design and a fantastic collaborative player with whom we've had a lot of fun over many years. Juliet, welcome to Open Labs. It's so nice to have you. Before we start talking about some of the projects, perhaps I could ask you a couple of quick questions to help us to navigate.
Okay.
Fantastic. So the first question is, tell us a little bit about the kinds of projects that we're going to see today. Where are they up to? What courses? What are they from, etc.?
We've got 2 groups of students presenting today. The first one is our group from our design studios, where our students get to apply their learnings from their theory and their technical courses and to explore some really exciting types of design. And these usually revolve around kind of big, crazy, wicked problems, and we bring them into the studios. And what's really rich in this experience is when we get to partner with Health Transformation Lab or other types of organizations, and the students get that work integrated learning platform. The second group is our honours students, and these are our most exciting students because it's our final year, and the students dedicate a whole year to a self-directed project. And this is the project that really is their anchor for their portfolios when they go to get jobs, and it kind of springboards them into their next adventure after uni. So these are really exciting.
Great. So, and Juliet, would I be right to say that the design projects tend to be a little bit more exploratory, and the honours ones a little bit more kind of propositional and concrete? Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when our design studios, they're our second and third year students, so they're definitely, I guess they're trying things on as you should when you're at university, and we really give them that leverage and that freedom to get a little bit crazy on the situation.
That's outstanding, Juliet. And so I think let's all get a little bit crazy now, and maybe you might take us through some of these projects with our good friends.
Wonderful. I hope my audio is coming through. Apologies about it before. Okay, so let's start with having a look at the design studio. So this is a studio we ran and we just finished last week. It runs for 12 weeks, so that's one semester of our academic year. And this semester we looked at digital well-being, in particular how these technologies could be used to empower young people and give them agency in a digital world. So the first project I'd like to share with you is the self-actualization device. The project was done by Tian, Sarah, Natalie, and Leon. And let me tell you, these students are a bunch of powerhouse students. They really flew this semester, and it was really exciting watching them come to life. The project looks at the digital self as a new individual identity created by algorithms using our digital footprint. And then they really explored that type of idea around what we put out into the internet, where privacy sits, and all those types of self-actualization things that can, it's really at the heart of some of the bigger ethical issues and cultural issues we're asking around this. So I'm just going to throw over to Tian, one of our wonderful students. Tian, where did this idea come from? Because it's such a poignant idea that you explored this semester.
Yeah, the idea of a digital persona isn't exactly new. You know, we have the ones we build ourselves with posting pictures on social media, and there's the one that's built of us by companies trying to sell us things, and they may use data that we don't even think twice about, like what time of day you access a website, for example. So a whole dimension of our identity exists in this kind of intangible space defined by complicated algorithms that a lot of us, can't really understand. And so our self-actualization device presents this identity in a more tangible way, in a way we can empathize with better, in a more human way. And it does so by outputting notes, letters, or maybe visual collages from our digital selves, allowing us to better understand ourselves, or this version of ourselves. Yeah.
Thanks, Tian. Let's have a look at their project video now.
According to Rogers' personality theory, the proximity of one's self-image and ideal self determines self-actualization. We propose a third factor, the digital self. We define the digital self as a selfhood determined and interpreted by digital algorithms. Simply put, it's how your computer sees you. We present the self-actualization device. You can now receive notes and letters from your digital self, delivered via the device.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jess. We got there. The second project I'd like to share with you is a game that would help young people break up with their phones. This one's called, I just lost the name of it. It's totally gone off my head. Ananya, Nick, James, Rowan, what's the project name again?
It's called How to Break Up with Your
How to
Phone.
Break Up with Your Phone.
Yeah.
Perfect. And essentially what was really interesting about this project was it had a look at young people's relationship with their phone as this version of an unhealthy or bad relationship. And it's quite interesting and poignant at the moment because of the, I guess, knowledge and focus we have on healthy relationships. So Ananya, I'm just going to ask you a quick question. How did you come up with this idea, and how do you think that this project addresses the problem that you identified?
So our phones play a really important role in our lives, and the problem is that sometimes they end up being quite disruptive, distracting, and invasive. So putting limits to our phones is very important, but we don't exactly know how to do it. So there are apps and services that let us know how much we use our phone, but they don't tell us how exactly to stop using them. So our project is an educational game that helps young people to set and achieve daily limits, allowing them to focus on their triggers, habits, and behaviors linked to their device usage. Over to the video.
So, what's the problem? Well, as young people, we feel like our phone is like a bad relationship. It sends us too many messages, distracts us from our work, and doesn't allow us to spend any time away from it. Young people want to limit their phone usage. They just don't know how. Now might be a good time to tell you how to break up with your phone. We're tackling this tricky problem via two complementary methods, a physical toolkit and a digital application. Starting with a QR code on the toolkit, you would begin your breakup by downloading the application. From here, you can begin your journey by picking an activity card. After grabbing a card from the toolkit, you can scan the card's QR code to set it as a goal within the application, as well as iOS 14 widget and Apple Watch screen if you so choose. Once you complete the activity, you can tick it off as done. Day one is over.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, our third project that we want to share with you from the studio is the Ritual Generator. It's made by a group of students who call themselves Every Day is Tuesday, which we found totally humorous during the last lockdown because it did feel like every day is Tuesday. So, Astrid, tell me about what the Ritual Generator was all about.
Hi. Yeah. So during the COVID lockdowns, we realized that our lives have become so digital and so predictable, which I think is why we called ourselves Every Day is Tuesday. And we realized that we'd lost all connection with like the randomness of the outside world and the physical world. So the app produces completely randomized and speculative rituals. And people don't have to do these activities. We think that they work really well as prompts for people to reimagine the world around them. And should people decide that they'd like to do the activities, then we think that they can have really liberating and transformative experiences pretending that they're a toothbrush or a dog. So yeah, we hope you enjoy.
Melbourne's stage 3 and 4 lockdown has meant we have come face to face with ourselves. We have been thrown into a liminal state, restricted in our movements, crossing minimal thresholds, and experiencing a lack of tactility. We want to break this cycle. We designed the Ritual Generator. It's an app and website to guide tactility in suggesting random tactile pairings or rituals, allowing people to experience surprise and delight inside an often predictable online framework. This confirmed our mission to curate a completely randomized software, leaving users and their own discretion to accept or decline rituals, and letting them take joy or disgust in the oddly paired activities. The transcendent mode is for those times you may have wondered what it could feel like to become a toothbrush, or a mug, or transcend the bounds of your regular, small surroundings. Every Day is Tuesday is throwing a random element into the array of tools tackling digital agency, rewiring how young people can find ground in the disconcerting transitions we experience in our ever-adapting digital world.
Thank you so much. Okay, that was it for the studios. So you can see that they are largely explorative, and that they propose, I guess, speculative solutions to the wicked problems. And it was really, really wonderful during the studio having Vishal and the rest of the Health Transformation Lab come in for a lot of the assessment points and checkpoints to give the students live feedback, and so they could keep on, I guess, pushing and being really experimental. Now I'd like to move on to have a look at some of our honours projects, particularly those students that have been doing it within the health context. These students focus on this for an entire year, and it's a self-directed project. They have a supervisor, but the supervisor largely just tries to keep the student on track. And it's a really exciting project because the students, I guess, throw themselves in this deep end, and they have to figure out how to deliver this project themselves with limited support. So it's, I guess, a bridging moment between the comfort of university and the demands of being a real-world industry-focused designer. So let's pop over to two of our students, Sunny and Haruka. Both of your projects are looking into human posture and how good posture habits can be encouraged. This is obviously incredibly poignant as we are now in the digital realm, and we're spending so much time hunched over everyone's laptops. So Sunny's project is ANZA and looks into seated posture in workplace. And Haruka's project is a POSA, and they look into asymmetrical human posture. So Sunny, I'm going to ask you first, what are the main differences in your project?
So the main difference is between the ANZA and POSA project is the output of the feedback of the device. So my project, ANZA, is a wearable device and an app that accumulates the information about sitting time and posture through sensor-based systems to provide context-related feedback to the users. In addition to giving users data feedback, the next steps are proposed to help the workers reduce stress by encouraging simple activities such as short stretching exercises and activities that allow them to come into contact with the nature. And also, ANZA's goal is to ultimately create a healthy office sitting habits for users.
Yeah, and just like adding on to what Sunny said, for me, I've set myself a context that for my project, I wanted it to be a human-computer interaction that occurs at any time of the day, even outside of the work context. So that's why I chose to use auditory feedbacks, and my design research looks deeply into how real-time auditory biofeedbacks can influence human posture and how sound can be integrated easily into the daily lives of the users.
So wonderful. All right, let's have a look at their video.
On a daily basis, how often do you think about your posture? When we load our body asymmetrically, our body must deform to balance that weight. But that's not the actual problem. The problem is that when we choose to do this for a prolonged period of time, our body will adapt to this deformation, and these subconscious decisions are what can be considered as poor postural habits. That's where POSA comes in. POSA is a human-computer interaction experience design that measures your body asymmetry and maps this using real-time auditory feedback. The volume and quality of the audio changes depending whether you're tilting too much to the left or to the right. Through POSA, my aim was to prove that audio biofeedback can effectively influence the human body posture. Let's make good postural habits with POSA.
In modern society, people are highly exposed to sedentary behaviour at work, and it is often found in office environments. Studies have shown that people abandon health tracking devices because they do not know what to do with the displayed data. Plus, the study has mentioned that individuals can also make different interpretations of the data. Therefore, ANZA is designed. Answer is a wearable device that accumulates information about sitting time and posture through sensor-based systems to provide context-related feedback to users. Simply clip the Answer device and connect it to the app. Answer app monitors your posture and provides gentle haptic feedback as well as visualization feedback in the app when your body is tilted out of the reference region. The app reminds you to take frequent breaks and proposes the next step. The app suggests a minute of short exercise at every break, and it guides you through each exercise position with glanceable visualizations. It is Answer's long-term goal to contribute to raising users' physical awareness and creating a natural environment where they can take frequent breaks at work, which will eventually help users form healthy sitting habits.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Okay, the next project is a little bit of a contrast to this because it's all about using old interfaces to assist the elderly aging in place with engaging smart technology. So Todd, this is your honours project. I've had the pleasure of chatting with Todd throughout the whole year, so I've been watching this quite closely, which is really exciting. You described this project as a new smart device for the elderly, but so how does it differ from other smart devices that are already on the market?
Well, the current elderly-friendly smart device space, it's largely part of the market is focusing on simulating human interactions and mannerisms, where my project Bring proposes that maybe we don't need to mimic human interaction to spur engagement from the elderly users. Maybe we just need to present it in a familiar tool, which they already know how to interact with. And I believe that Bring might be able to do that. So play the video.
What is Bring? Bring is a voice assistant to help you age in place. Bring is about using reminiscent knowledge of your old stuff to help you use something new. Bring is your news anchor. Bring is your weather update. Your timer.
1 hour.
Your music player. Bring is about giving you the key features of a voice assistant in a familiar action. Bring is an assisting tool, not a controlling robot. Bring, the familiar companion to smarter living.
That's coming together really nicely. Thanks, Todd. Okay, the last project I'd like to share with you today is Isabella's. So this one's a really interesting project, and Isabella's my student, so we've been working together super closely this year, so I'm a little bit biased here compared to the others, forgive me. So there's a current unmet need for medical intervention for improved communications, and really this is between the clinical teams and their patients. And we can see this across a whole variety of different occurrences when anyone has to deal with, ongoing health issues. Izzy's decided to focus specifically on cancer patients and poses an alternative and improved means of remote cancer patients monitoring their health through the use of a smart wearable technology. Izzy, would you like to tell us about your project?
Yeah, so basically, patient-reported outcomes such as cancer diaries play an important role in improving cancer care. However, patients often struggle to accurately and succinctly express their fluctuating health to their oncologists. You see, compressing 1 to 2 months worth of home treatment into a 15-minute checkup appointment is practically impossible. And my project, Katrina, serves to solve this issue by providing clinicians with a comprehensive, holistic overview of their patient's progression through the collation of objective and subjective patient health data. And in turn, better communication will result in improved treatment outcomes and patient quality of life.
Wonderful, let's watch the video.
Cancer patients struggle to accurately express their treatment experience to their clinical teams.
if doctors had access to holistic patient information, this would improve treatment and patient quality of life. Introducing Katrina. Katrina is a data-driven live tracking system designed to monitor cancer patients within the home by using a wearable biosensor that links to a patient application. The biosensor continuously records patient vital signs, and the application collects patient symptom severity scores. The outcome is an interactive visualization that establishes patient progression. Using colour psychology, doctors have the ability to view comprehensive yearly, monthly, and weekly patient overviews. What sets Katrina apart from standard clinical measures is that it brings together quantitative and qualitative forms of patient data. Through Katrina, when patients return for checkup appointments, they can now rest assured knowing that their clinical teams can better understand their progression and provide better care. Katrina establishes the foundation for increased personalised treatment, improves patient quality of life through earlier intervention and deterioration, and finally advances clinical efficiency. Katrina, easing the patient journey.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to move on to a Q&A now with Vishal, myself, and the wonderful Juan.
I'm jumping in for Vishal as well. So yeah, I just wanted to thank all the students for telling us about your projects. They're absolutely brilliant, very exciting. And yeah, guests today, we'd love to hear from you. If you had any thoughts or comments or questions, you're welcome to pop them in the chat. The little chat bubble is on the bottom right-hand side of your window if you're on a computer. And we'd love to hear if you had any comments for the students or ideas about aspects of their projects. Otherwise, over to the lab members and other guests. Juan, I don't know if you also wanted to make a comment before we had questions.
No, I don't have any comment. I just want to add that these are short versions of the videos. And I was planning to share the link to the full version of the studio videos, but I'm in different devices at the same time. So if you want, the students, if you want to share the link to your videos, you can do it in the chat and people can just follow the link and watch the videos that explain the research process and the design development that is behind these ideas. So please feel free to share the links in the chat. And also at this moment, the Industrial Design program and the School of Design have 2 online exhibitions where people can go and have a look at a wide and a very broad diversity of design projects, not just in the context of health, but also in all areas of design that you can imagine: service design, product design, speculative design. And that exhibition was organized by industrial design students, and it's on Instagram. And Juliet is going to share that link with you on the chat. And the School of Design organized the first RMIT Graduate Festival of Design, also online, and that's a website that will pop up in the chat as well. Those are the things that I have to say. I also wanted to thank the students, most of whom are already in the summer break, an early summer break, so they have put a lot of extra time and extra work for this presentation.
Thanks, Juan. I was wondering for those ID students in second or third year, like after seeing the honours presentations and getting to know where your design projects could take you, what does 2021 look like? Do you think you can take ideas from this semester and turn them into something, or are you inspired by a whole different idea now? What does that look like for you?
I've got a. I haven't thought about that. I was really excited by the pace of this studio and to think about sort of mental spaces that were, sort of mental spaces that we're able to put ourselves into and how that relates to time and experience and thresholds. I think I'm definitely going to use this application, sort of this industrial design application towards health going into honours next year. It's really nice to see the kinds of projects that can come out of this. I definitely didn't realise starting this degree that the honours projects that we just saw are possible.
That warms my heart, Anna. You know, the honours program is it's kind of this looming end to the degree, but it is really exciting once you get there. And it's kind of, from a supervisor's perspective or a teacher's perspective, you really do watch these students turn from little caterpillars into butterflies, and it's a really rewarding process that you get to participate in. It's probably one of the big reasons why and I have so much fun in industrial design. It's just seeing them come to life like that.
I have the same question for the honours students then. So now that you're at the end of the year, what does next year look like? Are you going to continue working on the ideas you've developed, or are you taking your inspiration elsewhere?
I'll go first. So I'm wanting to take my project further. I came into honours knowing that I wanted to do something in cancer care, and I wanted to utilise honours as like a place to lay the foundations for further developing something beyond. And I've been in conversations with the MedTech Actuator, looking at some of the programs that they offer for next year and kind of planning so what I do in order to actually bring my idea to market. So that's the plan for myself.
Wonderful.
And Todd and Haruka, where do you think that your projects could be implemented or like even commercialized?
Yeah, actually, since Sunny and I are working on both like posture related projects, we were considering like taking our project further, possibly like incorporating the two and making it into like a single project, which will be something that'll be really exciting in the future.
Great.
Yeah, and for mine, I was very lucky to be able to, like, I know a lot of the students weren't able to materialize their ideas as much as I may have. Like, I've just got it sitting here. So I'm very grateful that I was able to do that through the process, and I'm really just kind of pushing the project as more of like a statement about the whole voice assistant area at the moment and how the ethics may range around that. So in terms of pushing it forward, I'd probably more try to push that idea, the idea and the mentalities that the object represents to future research.
I like that. I could definitely picture my grandmother using that phone. She still doesn't know how to use like CDs or DVDs, so that would be up her alley for sure.
I mean, I was grateful enough to also have my grandparents as like key testers during this whole thing. So it was strange that they figured out how to use it so quick.
Well, good design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's more about like the reminiscence of it. I think it's like nostalgia. It always works.
We have a question. Oh, sorry, you go on.
Karen had a comment about Todd's project, and Todd, your project, it's actually like it's a working, like a functional prototype, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, maybe you might want to show off your skills and the fact that you have a 3D printer at home, like Todd is very eccentric in that sense. Do you want to show Karen and the rest?
It's not plugged in, but I can go get the charger if you want.
Okay, no, I think that's just fine. But Karen, if you want to know more about Todd's project, just feel free to have a chat with him, or that's a I had the fortune of supervising Todd's project this year, and it's amazing the work he's done around this device and all the ideas about democratizing technologies and like overcoming this digital divide, intergenerational digital divide in the context of smart technologies and smart living. Sorry, Jess, you wanted to say something, and okay.
That's fine. I was just going to point out a question from another audience member about the experience. I guess that might be focused more towards honours students, and understanding that this year's been a challenge in and of itself. Were there sort of particular challenges around working from home and approaching your design projects this year in this situation for those honours students that presented today?
I think, well, personally for me, it was very difficult dealing with cancer patients. I don't have access to cancer patients. So my next port of call was trying to contact oncologists, which was, if not, it was more, even more difficult to get a contact of anyone. So trying to get validation for the project with my idea was quite hard. And then when it came to user testing, I did testing on a bunch of wearables, and basically the system of collecting my vital signs and my simulated symptom experience was quite an experimentation, because I ended up doing it on myself. And that was quite difficult to do. So yeah, I think working from home has been a struggle in itself, let alone not having access to external resources. But it's been a good challenge. Definitely learned a lot.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point, because it's not just the technical aspects of the project, but also, I don't know, like the emotional aspect of being in lockdown. And I think that's especially difficult for international students. Like I'm immigrant, so I'm somehow an international student, but maybe Sarah, you live like very far from home in the city, in not a very big apartment. So how was that experience being locked down at home?
Yeah. It was really, I guess, hard this year, because we were just kind of stuck at home and we couldn't really go out and really hands-on on the project at this studio. So I guess our group was kind of bummed about that, but because of Zoom and everything, we were able to push through. And I think our outcome was really wonderful, and being like an international student and being so far from home, it's tough, but you have people here as well, especially in the studio, and we're all struggling together. So it's like a really nice feeling to have a bunch of people who's doing the same thing. Yeah. So I didn't really feel that lonely, actually. Yeah.
Great. And you had Juliet as teacher, who is a
Oh yeah,
very
Juliet
nice
was the
person.
best. Yeah. And you too.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, I think that we are just on time to finish Open Lab number 7, like Jess, Vinisha.
Yeah, thanks, Juan. It was really great to hear from you all again, and I hope our guests for today enjoyed hearing about these projects and were inspired to learn about some of the new ideas coming through, particularly related to health, which is what we're all really passionate about. Yeah, we've got a message from Sunny. Thanks, Sunny. Yeah, great presentations. We look forward to seeing what you get up to in the future, all of you. So keep in touch. We'd love to keep talking about your projects and keep up the collaboration. So great to see you again. We'll upload this video onto our website. It's been edited, so look for that next week probably. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good afternoon.
you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.